Back at the MIlrose Games, ready for the women's mile. The meet record, 4:21.45 by Doina Malinte of Romania. The American mark, 4:20.5, held by Mary Slaney, who is here this evening but not competing.
There you see Regina Jacobs, and that graphic says it all. World Outdoor Championships, everybody shows up. She was the silver medalist, except for a bumping, pushing incident at the end. May have wound up with gold. Kind of an upsetting thing when you're past your 33rd birthday here. You may not get another shot to kind of do it that well. There's Suzy Hamilton, number 162, a big star, NCAA champion, I believe it was 12 times at the University of Wisconsin. Now back with Peter Tagan, her coach at the university, working, she says, on her speed and is in very good shape. Defending champion Cathy Franey is back, now the assistant coach at Boston College for distance runners and a former Villanova standout.
She won the high school mile in this competition back in 1985, and in 1996 she won the open division. Once again, we'll have a bit of a waterfall start. The first 6 runners will be on the back line along the rail, the next 2 outside, and will break after the first turn.
I like that, a waterfall start. That's great. Cathy Palacios in the black outfit on the outside there too. They'll go a half a lap and then cut for the pole.
You'll notice I didn't get it right, though. 3 starting on the outside, not 2. There is Franey.
You know, probably a smart move for Cathy to take over. She lacks the raw sprinting capability of Juli Henner, who's in 3rd, and Suzy Hamilton, who's back in the pack, and Regina. Those women can up and really motor in the last couple of laps of a race or the last lap of an outdoor race. Franey has to make sure the pace is hard to try and take the sting out.
In second place, number 170 in the dark uniform, Cathy Palacios, a former Big 8 champion at 3,000 meters out of Kansas. There is Franey, a star for the great Villanova women's cross-country teams of the 1980s and 90s.
She recently married Jack Fleming, and he himself one of the integral parts that helped put on the Boston Marathon for the BAA. And his involvement with the media and John Hancock has been a wonderful addition to Guy Morse's staff.
The 2 favored runners, Suzy Hamilton and Regina Jacobs, running at mid-pack right now. Neither has ever won this event. They run 4th and 5th.
Stephen Strand, the first man under 72.5 on the high jump.
67 seconds for the first 440 yards. And she's got to certainly maintain that pace. Not exceptionally fast, but a solid pace.
Juli Henner from Harrisonburg, Virginia, runs 3rd, behind Palacios, just ahead of Hamilton and Jacobs. 7 laps to go.
I spoke with Juli Henner in 3rd before the meet, and she was extraordinarily confident. She just said, I think I'm running well. I ran relatively slowly in an early meet, but I wasn't pressed. My speed is good. She said, I'm looking forward to tonight. Let's see what she's got going for her. And she is, she's as good as Hamilton is when she's on.
Franey now opening up a lead. Palacios fading.
That is Hamilton moving into 2nd and Regina Jacobs into 3rd. The power structure's taking its lineup here, as would be expected here as we approach 880 yards. 2:15.6 for 880 yards for Cathy Franey as she tows this human convoy behind her here.
You get the impression Hamilton and Regina Jacobs are racing each other and not Franey out front.
Well, they've got an eye on her, obviously. You can't dismiss Cathy Franey ever. But she's pointing for the World Cross Country Championships, which she has qualified for to represent the United States next month. And this is actually a pretty short race for her because of the distance of cross country.
Suzy Hamilton in 2nd. Trained in California and Oregon for several years, but as you mentioned, Larry, she's back in Wisconsin now, and she has the number 2 runner in the world last year at this distance on her shoulder.
Bob, the stage is totally set here. Everybody else is out of it except for the 2 women behind that continue to try and close down the gap. Franey has got to worry about the other 2 right now as we are approaching 3/4 of a mile. And I'm not sure this pace has been hard enough to take the sting out of Suzy Hamilton. She looks fresh. Regina looks to be struggling a little bit to me.
They've made up the gap on Franey. Let's see how long they wait to make the pass.
Peter Tagan, Suzy Hamilton's coach, stresses interval work and speed training and sharpness. And this woman has an excellent kick. Let's see if she is more sprint sharp than, let's say, she might have been a year ago training in Oregon at this time of the year. So there goes Jacobs.
2 to go. Suzy Hamilton leads Regina Jacobs past Cathy Franey.
3:25 through the 3/4 mile mark.
And now it will be a sprint. Hamilton against Jacobs as Franey begins to drop back just a bit. On balance, you'd have to favor a fit and ready to race Suzy Hamilton in this situation. And she opens up a couple of she opens up all sorts of yardage in the space of half a turn. Suzy Hamilton is in full flight. Regina Jacobs has no answer. Here comes Suzy Hamilton to her first MIlrose victory in the mile.
Well, the first big battle between these two outstanding runners has been won by Hamilton here. And the young lady with her own swimsuit calendar and has been in different Nike ads and Head and Shoulder ads and so forth, has got a lot to cheer about and be happy about. A wonderful MIlrose victory, her first.
And this bodes well for American track as we look ahead to the season. If two athletes like Regina Jacobs and Suzy Hamilton can push each other to new heights, it could be an interesting World Championships.
They are, and these are two outstanding milers on the world scene. Suzy Hamilton ranked number 5 in the world a year ago, and Regina was number 2. So you're watching the very, very best.
Suzy, interesting splits for you. Look, I had you running like 68, 68, 68, 65. Were you worried at all with Cathy was going to get away from you?
I really wasn't. I'm so confident in my kick right now that I felt that at any moment I could go if I had to.
Well, in that case, if you weren't worried about who was in front of you, how about who was behind you, Regina Jacobs?
You know, I was never really worried. I just wanted to win this one. It's a great meet, great fans, and I wanted to do it and show the people that I can win this.
Suzy Hamilton gets her 1998 off to a great start. Victory at 4:30.91. Regina Jacobs second, about 3 seconds behind. Cathy Franey, who carried much of the load during the early portion of the race, finished third.